that serves on the neighborhood advisory council as well, and she lives in the Linesdale neighborhood. And her and I had an extensive talk about what was going on with the current building with Linesdale Elementary, and how needed and overdue the new elementary school was needed in the area. I live in Mechanicsville, and so we have a really small neighborhood elementary school.
That's Maynard Elementary, right?
It is.
Right.
And that building is very old. I mean, my great-grandmother went to school in that very same building as did my grandmother and my father. So I know that, there's, probably some maintenance and building upkeep. My children were zoned for West, but I intentionally transferred my two older children to Austin East. And I do see places in that building where you can tell that, the ceiling is leaking. If the ceiling is leaking, that means that there's issues in the roof.
Right.
And a lot of that stuff looks the same way it did when I walked those halls. Next year will be my 20-year anniversary from graduating. And so if I can, recognize some things that were there 20 years ago, there's definitely a need for, some infrastructure done in these schools. And I don't think enough was spoken about that from my previous District 1 representatives.
And what do you think, obviously Austin East last year lost a student, Anthony Thompson Jr. Do you think the community is continuing to heal? Do you think the community has healed? How do you think that is interacting with the students at Austin East today?
I don't think that the community has completely healed. Because if I'm going to be honest, I do not think that some members, not all, but some members of the community have not been honest about the situation with themselves.
Okay.
I think the ball was dropped completely by our Board of Education rep when all the students previous to that were being killed, leading up to when Anthony was killed in the bathroom. And then going back to the day before school started, when John was killed, I think she should have taken all of those incidents as an opportunity to be communicative, be open and honest about what was going on in those situations, especially the situation regarding Anthony Thompson, because I think people have a better understanding of things, even if they don't like it, when they are informed and know what's going on.
Right, and there never has been a true community meeting at Austin East since any of those deaths have occurred. Correct?
There was one.
Was there? Okay.
There was one that took place in February after the two students were killed that month. I was there. Not all of the board members were there. I would have liked to have seen all of the board members present, especially considering what was going on, because at that point we already had 3 students that had been killed at this point. I know that everything was late to the meeting. That did not sit well with me. Because I think she should have probably been the first one through the door. Right. I know that there were not a lot of parents there at the meeting, and I don't think that the community was invited. I don't think it was really pushed to the public. It was more of a meeting concerning parents. But I know Superintendent Thomas had gotten on the stage and he made a comment about the lack of people in the audience there, especially considering what was going on. And I mean, he has a point. It is hard to, I guess, be concerned and continue to try to tackle the issues when the people who are in the community surrounding this school and the people who are directly tied to this school are not showing any genuine interest. But when you take into consideration things that are going on in people's homes, lack of transportation, lack of access to information, or, perhaps they, are working second shifts or taking on second jobs or attending to younger children or disabled or elderly parents, everyone is not able to come to these meetings in the traditional sense that we're used to having these PTA meetings or community forums. And sometimes you just have to meet people where they are, and I definitely intend to do that.
Yeah, because, obviously, Knoxville and Knox County in particular, I mean, it's not like we're wealthy people, but certainly in the first district, it's not like there's a lot of, obviously there's poverty. I mean, let's just be real about it. There's poverty in the first district, and obviously when you have poverty, when you have lack of transportation, when you're having meetings at night where CAT may or may not be able to take you, and when you have legitimate fear in the community after dark, and you got people who are taking care of children. I mean, it's real. I mean, it's real world.
It really is. And I'm right there with you. You probably heard my baby kind of crying from in the background.
That's fine. That shows that you're real. I mean,
That's exactly right.
So,
I'm a real parent.
Absolutely.
And I'm trying to take her visits and
sure,
my baby, and then
sure.
I'm multitasking.
Absolutely.
While I'm doing this interview with you, I'm loading up my dishwasher and getting ready to dinner.
I can appreciate that, and so you're running as an independent. You're not going to run you're not running as a Republican or Democrat, and that's something new for the school board. They used to be nonpartisan, so if somebody got more than 50%, they just became the school board member, and if somebody didn't get 50%, then it was a runoff. But now the state's changed it to where you got to run as Republican or Democrat. You've chosen to run as an independent. Is there a reason that you decided to be an independent? I mean, do you feel like neither the Republican Party nor the Democrat Party really represent you, and that you want to be an independent, or what was the reason you decided to run as an independent?
Well, typically I do vote as a Democrat.
Sure, that's fine.
And I think that's kind of based on how they have the ballot set up, especially in the primary. You have to choose a party,
right?
When you vote in the primary, and so usually the people who are running in my district are running under that Democratic Party,
right?
But that doesn't mean that I am, against Republican candidates or against some of their views.
Right.
I'm more of a middle of the road person, and so I had considered running under the Democratic Party when I decided to run for this particular office. But I found out that the Democratic Party had already decided to endorse Reverend Butler.
Oh, okay.
So, rather than me try to convince them that they had made the wrong choice, I just decided to go ahead and run as an independent. And, that way, I believe it opens me up to pulling voters from both sides.
Sure. Well, and the bottom line is you basically get a freebie on May the 3rd. I mean, when people go to vote on May the 3rd, they're not going to find Breyauna Holloway on their ballot on May the 3rd. They're gonna find you on the ballot on August the 4th. So when people go and they vote on May the 3rd, they're going to pick the Democrat candidate that's going to be their Democrat candidate. And then when we get to July 15th, which is the first day of early voting for August 4th, early voting is July 15th through the 30th. and then on August the 4th is the general election, then they'll have the choice of the Democrat candidate, and they'll have the choice of Breyauna Holloway. And of course, there's another independent candidate, but since this is your time, we're not gonna mention somebody else's name because I'm all about getting information about everybody that's on the ballot, and this is your time on the Brian Hornback Experience, episode 72. So they'll get to choose, and so I'm sure you're probably not going to get a whole lot of attention between now and May the 3rd. But the good thing about a podcast is it's going to still be there after May, and we'll probably talk again after May the 3rd, and we'll talk again going up. But obviously, you really don't. I mean, so you've got an extra period of time to really talk to the community and get those people. And the good thing about your situation is that because you're not a Republican, you're not a Democrat, when you do become the school board member, you get to represent everybody.
That's right.
And even if you're a Republican or a Democrat, you've got to represent everybody anyway. But being an independent, and see, that's the thing that obviously I got elected 20 years ago for the school board as a nonpartisan. Everybody knows me as a Republican. I've got Democrat friends. Everybody knows me as a Republican. But the good news about it is that you get this extra time to campaign leading up to August the 4th. So, have you been able to set up a campaign? I know that people can find you, obviously, on Facebook as Breyauna Holloway, and we will spell that for everybody. That is Breyyauna. Am I right?
That's right.
Oh, Breyauna, and it's HOLLOWAY. I actually had your name written down somewhere, but that piece of paper has left me. But anyway, Breyauna Holloway's on Facebook. Also, the same name, Breyauna Holloway, 6th District Neighborhood Advisory Council reps on Facebook as well. I guess in the future, you'll probably be setting up a campaign Facebook page too, won't you?
Well,
maybe not.
Maybe not.
Okay.
I'm keeping that business page I have for
Sure.
my 6th district.
Right.
Kind of just launching it from there. I just haven't changed the title of it because by the hopefully slim chance that I don't win.
Okay. Well, I mean, you've still got to be the 6th District Neighborhood Advisory Council rep. Right.
That's right. I've still got another year in that position, and then I can apply to do another term in that position. But if I do win, I'll change the title of that particular page. But I like to keep it there. I'm kind of established on that page. Don't have a lot of followers, but I do a lot of information sharing from that page.
Yep.
And so I'll just keep it there.
That's good.
I know not everyone is social media savvy or like social media. I'm not going to go out and rent another space for campaign headquarters, so I'm using my business.
Sure, that's it. That's at 2131 Magnolia. That's Claire's Closet and Crafts, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
that's right.
So those folks in the 1st District that they want to find Breyauna Holloway, they can find her at 2131 Magnolia, Claire's Closet and Crafts, and go by and see her. And of course, they're always welcome to purchase something while they're there too, right?
That's right.
But hey, I will link to obviously as we finish out this interview here on the Brian Hornback Experience. I will link in my blog post that has the video and the audio. And by the way, I had a little mix up on the video during this, so there'll be a part 1 and a part 2 because apparently my video decided to crash at some point. So we didn't miss a whole lot. But I will link to your 6th District Neighborhood Advisory Council rep page for people to find you. And I look forward to talking to you again in the future. And I wish you the best of luck. And any information that I can do to help get it out for you as you get closer and closer and closer to the election, BrianHornback.com is here for you. So I wish you well, and it's been great talking to you.
Yes, likewise. I thank you for your time and for featuring me on your show. Thank you for everything. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and I do hope to work with you again in the future, not just through this campaign, but also as the community rep, and hopefully as an official school board member, we'll do some work together.
Sounds good. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Have a good evening.
You too. Bye-bye.